We're going to talk about a fun topic today. We're not going to talk actually about the technicalities of mortgages. We're not going to talk about finances in general. We're going to talk about the crazy deals and the crazy clients and sometimes crazy agents that drive us to drink. So cheers again.
Cheers.
So, Brooke, you and I have been in the industry for a while. You grew up in the mortgage world. Your dad is a lender.
Oh, yes.
So I'm sure there are stories, not that just you have seen yourself personally, but you have also heard from your dad.
Yep.
And with my years, I'm sure we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. No, I've experienced it my whole life, being on vacation, deals are blowing up, he's on the phone, and then experiencing that firsthand. It's, things happen. So let's kind of dive into our stories.
Let's do. Go for it.
Okay.
What's your craziest story that you've ever dealt with? We'll kind of go from craziest to less so, I guess.
I mean, off the top of my head, I'm thinking I've just had buyers, fully committed throughout the process, very excited. And then at the last hour with signing, they decide they're just not feeling it anymore. It's not the right house. So they want to keep renting. So after everything, they pay for the appraisal, they already did their earnest, and just a complete 180. The agent was blindsided. I was blindsided. I mean, nobody really saw that coming. They just,
wow.
I don't know if it was family influence or maybe they were digging into something. They changed their mind, but we didn't really get an explanation. It was just kind of like a complete ghost situation after that. And
that is just nuts. What happens? So for those who don't know, this is actually where the lending piece does come in inadvertently, is that when you commit to a purchase, you put earnest money deposit down, which is a few $1,000s typically. And if you don't close on the said house, you can potentially lose your earnest money deposit. So again, we're talking thousands. Appraisal, a few hundred, depending on where in the country you're at. Here in Arizona, it's about $450-ish, right?
Yeah, on average.
On average, plus inspections, probably between $500 and $1,000. Yeah. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, the appraisal may actually run you close to $1,000 combined. But then, how much earnest money were we talking about?
That was close to about $4,000. And after inspections and everything, they were fine forfeiting all that money and going back to renting, even though their rent was actually $300 higher.
That is complete insanity.
Yeah.
See, this is what we deal with. I wouldn't say day in and day out, but it's stuff like that would definitely make you want to go drink. Not to say that either one of us is a big drinker. As a matter of fact, this is fairly rare, but stuff like that will drive you to a bottle and a glass.
Yeah.
And, my poison of choice is sweet wine. So a little easier in alcohol content, but there's plenty of us in the industry who are a lot into the heavier stuff.
Sometimes you need it, especially after being blindsided like that.
Absolutely.
What about you? What would you say?
Oh my gosh. One of my craziest stories was actually a few years ago where I had this crazy bunch. I mean, I did get a fair warning from the agent that they were not your run-of-the-mill kind of normal setup.
Yeah.
There were 3 buyers. I still don't know what the relationship was. I stopped thinking about it because it was a little off.
Okay.
And they were buying a house. And we're about a week into the transaction. And I get a call from the buyer's agent, freaking the hell out, that asking me if I was the one who gave them the green light to go ahead and repaint the exterior of the house.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we are in contract. There are agents involved. And these people went straight to the sellers and arranged with the sellers that they will take care of the paint job in the house because we knew there was peeling paint. It had to be fixed. We knew it was coming up. So they wanted to kind of take the problem head on. Kudos for that. Mm-hmm. But they went about it the completely wrong way.
Yeah.
And
was it even an appraisal condition?
It was not. We haven't done an appraisal yet.
I see. Okay.
So it was still early enough on the loan. We're talking years ago. So the paint job was around $5,000. I mean, nowadays it would be 10 to 15, but regardless, that was $5,000. And really that $5,000 was a noose around the seller's neck because the seller would have been obligated to the contractor doing the job.
Yeah.
If the
buyer. Yeah.
Instead of the buyer, if the purchase fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, we had to jump through so many freaking hoops to get that deal closed. But they freaking painted the house without actually ever talking to me, the lender, their agent, the listing agent. They just kind of figured it was okay.
I know. And I feel like clients like that, they'll have questions about every single thing throughout the process. But the one thing
that is important,
yes, they won't call.
Exactly.
It's just, they should always feel comfortable calling. And it's just kind of those one random things that really make or break something.
Exactly.
And they fail to call.
They failed to call. And like I said, my poor buyer's agent, I mean, she literally was freaking the hell out. Like, I can't say it any other way because she's like, did you know what they did? I'm like, no, what? Oh. And then she told me that I thought I was going to die. I'm like, I hope you do understand. It didn't come from me.
So what happened after that?
I mean, we closed.
Yeah.
I got a shitty review. But that's one of those, it's one of my single stars. Of all, I am wear it as a badge of honor because there was no way in hell those people would have been happy.
Yeah. No, something would have upset them.
There would have been something or other that would have gone awry anyway besides the paying job. And there was so much that they did not disclose that we had to jump through that it was... It was a shit show on wheels, basically, the whole time through closing.
Yeah.
So he was one of those goodbye and good riddance.
I have a similar story to this. So we did an escrow holdback, and obviously, that we can't, it's pending those conditions. So in this case, it needed flooring for the appraisals. We needed to still do the flooring, but the buyer actually ripped up all of the floors rather than just replacing what was needed because he wanted to fully remodel it. But that took obviously more time. So it wasn't needed and completely just missed a couple steps, but kind of delayed things a little bit.
And never asked you, obviously.
Yeah, never asked. I knew he was going to fix the flooring that needed to be done, but I didn't know about the 3 other rooms and, a couple other areas. So that really kind of put a hinder on our plans.
That is insane. And, circling back to what you said originally, it's like, not being able to have a normal vacation. Not, having things blow up while you're on vacay. I mean, we always jokingly say in this business that if you want to get busy, put it out to the world that you're going on vacation. You're taking time off. Like, you're not even on vacation. You're starting to plan the vacation. And the phones blow up and everybody and their dog are in it to buy a house. It's like, okay, great. I appreciate you all. I love you.
Yeah. It's almost like action creates reaction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nutty and one of my not so favorite misadventures while traveling. We're talking, I want to say year 2000. We're in Paris.
Oh.
I have a deal blowing up. And that's before cell phones, basically, or before international cell phones.
So how did that work?
So
you didn't have a cell phone.
So I had to buy every country I went to in Europe. I had to buy a phone card to be able to call in from either a payphone or from the hotel. Well, for some reason, the damn thing would not work from the phone in the hotel. So I had to, plus the time difference. I mean, we're talking 11-hour time difference with the West Coast. So I had to go back, get dressed, venture out outside, my husband trailing behind as a bodyguard, and found a payphone on the boulevards in Paris. Ended up on the phone for over an hour. And my poor husband just circling around that phone booth like a shark, just protecting me. The deal did get resolved. But this is what we put up with. I mean, that's like in the biz.
For Paris, I guess.
A way to remember Paris. I'll always have Paris.
I think you might need to go back and redo your trip.
Oh, God, no.
Hopefully make some better memories.
Actually, there are better places I can think of.
Yeah.
Paris wasn't necessarily... I don't know.
Love it?
Didn't love it, no.
Really? Okay. Was it food or just kind of culture?
No, food was great. It felt cold.
Okay.
It felt cold. It wasn't what I expected. I had a different mental picture of Paris in my head.
Yeah.
And the only part of Paris that actually fit that picture was actually the little area right behind or by the side of Notre Dame, where it was still the old cobble streets,
cobblestones
and old buildings. because the rest of it's too new. And I don't know, maybe I just romanticize Paris too much in my head after reading too many Dumas novels.
Yeah.
No,
it's beautiful, but I'm sure I've heard that you love French people or you don't. So it's just kind of depending on if that fits your cup of tea. I don't know. But what about the catacombs? Would you ever do that in Paris?
I did not do that.
That
So
becomes
that would actually, I would love that.
Really?
I would totally love
You
that.
love that? Oh,
I love the
don't sign me up for
catacombs.
that.
Come on, let's go. So that was, like I said, not one of my favorites. Or not one of my favorite memories of the trip, but this is what we do. This is when we're dedicated to the job, to the life. It is a life.
Yeah, it's
a lifestyle.
Yeah.
We travel with laptops, even overseas, screw the 11-hour time difference.
Yeah.
You trance around Europe all day, and by night you're either in a hotel or an Airbnb, the whole family is asleep, and you're like pounding away on the keyboard or stepping outside, talk on the phone.
I've even been at beach clubs with friends and for celebrating a birthday, and you have to step away, take a phone app or whatever you need to do, or update a pre-approval on the spot. It happens, and even though it's a Saturday afternoon, people are out shopping. That's what we're here for.
That's the prime time.
Yeah.
Weekends, evenings are the prime time. Mm-hmm. And life doesn't stop just because we go on vacation.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I never actually put on out of office message or
which we said that you were going to work on.
Exactly. And I did last weekend.
Oh, you did? Good.
Well, I didn't put on the out of office.
That's actually like a step forward.
I warned the team that I will be gone.
Good. Yeah.
And I didn't take a laptop with me for the first time in my life.
Thank you. Isn't it nice? And I feel like we can do a lot from our phones that you don't really realize. It's easy to update anything. It can be done.
And, I was at my daughter's graduation, so I knew there was not going to be laptop time, period.
Yeah.
And as texts and emails and calls were coming in, I, picked a time when I could step away, let them know that I'll be back on Sunday. And everybody was actually super understanding about a big milestone in our life.
Yeah.
Having a child graduate. So
no, that's amazing.
Everybody was just super nice about it. Of course, came back on Sunday, and Sunday was a work day.
Yeah. It probably felt like a Monday.
It probably did.
Yeah.
So what's your next crazy story?
Ooh. Yeah. Let me think. You go first. I'm going to think on mine.
All right. One of my crazies, and this one literally falls into a crazy category, and you'll know why once I tell it. But I had a client who literally was pulling a Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or Dr. Hyde, whatever, Jekyll and Hyde on me.
Okay.
About 2 weeks into the transaction. I mean, one day he was the sweetest dude ever, and the next day he was just, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me, like, what the hell? Like, I'm walking on eggshells. I can't figure out how to, make do, because one day we're okay, the next day, all hell's breaking loose. Well, his daughter called me and basically apologized profusely and said that he was literally bipolar.
Oh.
And he must have not been taking his meds.
Mm.
And just please, please, please don't drop us. Just let's close. Help us with buying this house.
Mm-hmm.
But if she didn't tell me, I mean, I wondered
where the switch was.
Yeah, but it's like the switch was going off every freaking time. I mean, it was like you didn't know who you were talking to, which one of him you were talking to.
That's hard.
The normal one or the cray-cray one.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys did close though. Hopefully he was thankful in the end.
He was, but kind of putting up. I mean, once I knew what it was easier to okay, it's not me, thank God. It was more of, okay, deep breath. Let's hope he's on his meds. Mm-hmm. And if he's not, it's okay.
Yeah. Now you know what to expect. Though.
Exactly. At least I knew what to expect, and I didn't have to question my own sanity anymore. Because for a bit there, I thought that I was the insane one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Next story I can think of. This happened probably a couple years ago. Obviously, we preach to clients, don't open any new lines of credit, don't go buy a new car, don't go buy furniture, but things still can happen. So
we don't only preach. Let's get that one clear, please. We don't only preach. Mm-hmm. There is actually a document in our disclosure package that literally outlines everything they should not do.
Yeah. And they sign it.
Exactly. They're supposed to read it before they sign it. So question mark, read or just sign. And then from back in the day, I used to push out this thou shalt not 10 commandments to my buyers
That's good.
of all the things thou shalt not do when you're buying a house.
Mhm.
Never fails. Nobody reads it.
And there's always kind of those one-off scenarios.
Yep.
You probably get one every couple years, but I know I had a client, he co-signed actually for a cousin of his on an auto loan. So
Oops, because the dealership probably told him that you're just a co-signer. It doesn't
won't
matter.
affect
It
you.
won't affect you.
Mhm.
That is probably the most
Yep.
frequent one I've heard talking to clients. Well, we just co-signed because the dealership told us it's no big deal.
And
Bud Light.
yeah, if they would have called, obviously I would have told them no, but I think it was something over the weekend. They just kind of quickly did it, thinking that we were so close to closing that we weren't going to update their credit report, which we always do a refresh because we did see that inquiry. So we kind of had to backpedal a little bit. Luckily, we found a way to offset the extra debt, but that really did.
It could have derailed it.
Yeah.
Could have derailed it and could have set you back.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second, actually, because when we push out certain do's and don'ts, certain forms, certain disclosures to you, they're there for a reason.
Yeah. It's true.
Like some of the federal forms are asinine. I agree. Like Department of Redundancy, there is at least 2 forms that have to do with your right to receive appraisal report. There is at least 2 forms that have to do with your right to pick insurance. There is at least a couple of forms on pretty much every freaking subject. So it feels like it's redundant over and over again. But there are certain things that we do want you to pay attention to because they actually can and have been known to basically not just derail, but like nuclear explosion derail your transaction.
Yeah.
So it's for your sake, not for ours. And please do believe me when I say it, because some people think that, oh, it's just another form. I can skate by. Nobody will find out. Like Brooke said, we do run a refresh. Basically, we do look at your credit right before we close. And if there is inquiries, meaning you're shopping for more credit, or if there is a new
looking
debt,
for furniture early,
yep,
we will know.
or you are applying for a credit card at, I don't know, Sears. Sears even around?
I don't know, maybe like Home Depot,
JCPenney, like whatever.
Yeah.
Just to save that, 15, 20% because you just opened the card, guess what? That will, at the very minimum, delay your closing.
Yeah.
Because if you incur new debt, we have to verify that you incurred new debt. Now we have to get the full account number. We have to verify that it's a zero balance. And if it's not a zero balance, what the balance is and how much the payments are.
And manually update your credit.
Exactly. And that takes time.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you do any of that while you're in the purchase deal, you are jeopardizing your own closing, or at the very minimum, you're jeopardizing the closing timeline. So that is something that I can't stress enough.
Yeah.
Because really, is that 15% savings because you open up a new credit card worth losing the house and potentially losing your earnest money?
Absolutely not. Not to me, at least.
Not to me either.
All of that could wait until once you close on the home, and then you can go crazy with all the credit cards if you need to. But
exactly. One of my so yours was a car. I've seen the car thing, luckily only once or twice in my lifetime. Thank God. My cray-cray was a buyer close enough or in the same category. My buyer went out and bought furniture the weekend before we closed.
Yeah.
Or we're supposed to close. It was one of those 0 interest, 0 payment, 0 deals. Well, it doesn't matter if it's 0 interest and 0 payment. We still have to consider it as new debt, and we still have to count the actual potential payment against you. And in their case, it would have killed the deal. So I had to tell them, and it broke my heart to do that, but what do? What's more important, furniture or the house?
They had to return the furniture.
Go back.
Yep.
Undo it, unwind it. Bring me the paperwork that it's zeroed out, canceled, and then we'll move forward with closing.
Yeah, because they can just buy the furniture once they close.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was, I guess, a big sale or something. There was some reason they did it, but guys, come on. Again, you buy the furniture for the house you don't have yet. And the lenders are really not that stupid. They do check.
Yeah.
So it's not going to fall through the cracks. I promise you that much.
I've had a couple furniture ones myself. Luckily, not too many. can only happen once, and they were thinking of doing it a different time. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of any other crazy ones. I know. Oh, we've had a situation recently with a niece. So she randomly came in saying that she had power of attorney, which she did not. The client was actually very coherent and didn't need a power of attorney. She was trying to derail the refinance that we had going on because she actually wanted to keep as much equity in the home as possible.
Was it a reverse?
It was a reverse mortgage, and the niece did not like that he was doing one. So she
And it's not her. It's not her place to say.
That's definitely not. And yeah, if you falsely claim you have power of attorney, we have to look into that,
right?
You know? So
exactly,
yeah, we will find out that you don't have power of attorney. At the end of the day, it's a client's decision. So he wanted to move forward, and she looked like the cuckoo niece.
When the family steps in, sometimes that's the pits, because I've seen families step in on regular purchases, where the kids love the house. Everything is inked.
Mm-hmm.
And then the parents come in and start giving advice based on experience from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And everything starts going to shit in a handbasket.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're able to save it, and sometimes not so much. And I've seen it now a number of times. There's been a handful of them when the family intervened. The kids walked away from the house, didn't lose their earnest money because it was still early enough in the process. But once you do that, you diminish your chances of buying something else down the pike, because what the parents think it should be versus reality doesn't necessarily exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this crazy expectation now set, and that doesn't exist.
They can't come to reality with the fact that prices have changed.
Yes,
the demand on that. Yes. And I mean, it is. I know family is important during the process to support you, but it can, like you said, derail the entire thing. Especially, we've all heard the dad at inspections, and
or dad used to be a contractor.
Yep, that happens a lot.
And nitpicking on stuff that really does not need to be nitpicked, or that is really not that bad of a issue that can't be cured. Because again, it comes down to how much do you own the house?
Yeah.
How much do you like the house? How much do you love the house?
And having trust, I think, in your agent. The fact that they hired professionals to thoroughly look through everything, and kind of trusting the team that you've chosen, rather than, looking to your parents all the time, or your aunt and uncle who bought 30 years ago. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I understand the value of family and family input.
Yeah.
Trust me, I do. Mm-hmm. But they're not experts in this field most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless they're experts in this field.
Yeah, if they were still a licensed contractor, I could understand what they would have to say. But
if they were a licensed realtor, if they were a licensed lender. One of my, again, all-time favorites is I had a client who claimed that she used to be a lender like 20 years ago.
Okay.
So she knew everything better than we did, even though she hasn't been in the industry for 20 years.
Yeah, that happens.
Those are not the fun ones to work with.
So you're trying to obviously make yourself the professional and educate her, but she's not wanting to take any advice. So
because she knows best.
Yeah, you have to tread lightly in those situations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of I'm sure this has happened to you, where you bust your butt on a pre-qual over the weekend, and it was a very hard, maybe income situation. You finally get through it, and then maybe their family member is a lender, but they only work Monday to Friday. So
8 to 5.
Yeah, you got the accepted offer, the pre-qual in, and then they went to their original lender, essentially.
We actually had one, not a family member, but I had one in Seattle. And the real estate team and I, we still literally joke about it, and it's like a figure of speech for us anymore. Not naming a company that was trying to compete, but the client worked for, I believe, Microsoft. And somebody at work suggested that he talk to this other lender.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a relationship with the real estate team. He had a longstanding friendly relationship with that real estate team. So instead of following their recommendation to go with me, were already, my pre-approval letter got him in the deal.
Yeah.
We figured everything out. And as a matter of fact, it wasn't necessarily a complicated deal. He was putting 40% down, good credit. But the 2 weeks we lost by going back and forth between two lenders
With the shopping, yeah.
has affected the timelines. Because he couldn't understand, like, why can't we close on time?
Yeah.
Well, dude, you just wasted 2 weeks of everybody's time.
Because the lender's not going to order the appraisal when it's over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're not taking on that expense. And again, Northwest, the appraisals run almost $1,000.
Oh, wow.
That's a big chunk of money to put on the line.
Absolutely.
So this other lender, where it got really interesting really fast, is this other lender was quoting him rates that were not just in the market, but like well below the market. Like, I mean, there is competition, there's competition.
Yeah.
And we at Fairway, we usually are pretty well in the market. I mean, sometimes we cannot come close to what the brokers do sometimes, but that's because of a different broker models with a different compensation model. Whereas this was actually a direct lender. But where it started to get even more interesting, that the rate he was quoting was so far, like I said, below kind of the market norms, even for a broker deal,
So
that I kind of got my
no comp or
I got my heckles up.
Yeah.
So their website, actually, that company's website actually did show you pricing. So I got on their website and their published rates, you could actually run a quote on their website. I ran a quote for my buyer's scenario, and that quote from their official website was actually pretty much on par with what we had, or close enough, and nowhere near what this bozo was putting in an email.
Wow.
But he wouldn't do an official loan estimate. He was just doing an email.
The quotes and yeah.
So it took quite a bit of educating the buyer, both from myself and the agent, that for the numbers to be official, it has to be on an official loan estimate, or at the very minimum on an estimated fee sheet.
Yeah.
And he was providing neither. He was just putting numbers on an email.
Oh, I see. Because how many points does it take to get there? Or what are you hiding to get
Exactly. Why aren't you providing the official document that would actually show all of the required items?
Yep.
Like if we're playing square in the sandbox,
Yeah.
let's play square in the sandbox.
Yeah, apples to
Because I
apples.
told the buyer, if we can match their quote. Give me an official quote. What he kept sending me was just this email chain after email chain. I'm like, no, this will not do.
Yeah.
Email chain is not enough. At some point, I got so fed up with that full back and forth BS situation because something was off. There's just no way in hell that the company's official website shows what their rates are. And this Joe Schmo is running off the reservation on something that may or may not be theirs. Smelled way much like a bait and switch, right?
Oh, absolutely. It sounds like it.
So here is a trick or a tip or both. I figured I am going to look up this person in the NMLS because all of us can look up loan officers and their history and who they work for through the National Mortgage Licensing System, the NMLS. Oh, he got us an estimated fee sheet or an LE, and it took almost, like I said, 2 weeks. And it was somebody else's name on the LE. That's what got me looking into the NMLS. Like, why is somebody else's name on the loan estimate?
Yeah.
I got really, really curious. And the loan estimate didn't look right either, completely.
I see. Okay.
So I started digging into the person's background. And honestly, that's the first time I actually pulled somebody out as a loan officer. I pulled up another loan officer's record on an NMLS. I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
This dude has been at like 6 companies in 4 years. Never staying, one of those. Never staying long. He was claiming that he's been there. Oh, that's what I was saying. He was claiming that he was with the company for 20 years, the company maybe has been around for 20 years. He wasn't. He was there for less than 6 months. And before that, he was working for like one banking institution after another, after another, after another. So it's one of those that basically travel, shall we say.
It happens, So did the client end up going with?
So I
gentleman?
screenshot the record, sent it to the agents, sent it to the buyer. And that's what got us over the finish line. mean, I told him I will match the official estimate from the company.
Mhm.
I will not match to some
Not official
bogus
quotes, yeah.
quote that doesn't exist,
Mhm.
to bait and switch.
Well, and it's not fair to the client either because they don't know how much it's costing them to actually get to that. And
Or they don't know that that's just a bait and switch and the quote doesn't exist.
exactly.
Because once they get him in, we've already wasted 2 weeks.
And then
Now
you can
what?
say pricing's changed and, all of that. So, I mean, even with big banks, this happens a lot, even though they have the better rate or better whatever it may be, promising the world, they can still run late on closing.
Yep.
And that happens a lot. Do you ever get called in the last hour to save a deal from a big bank?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, did that with US Bank about a year ago.
Yeah.
They, that was actually, that one was interesting.
Yeah.
So that was actually a referral from a US Bank loan officer. And they've actually gone through underwriting, and I believe the appraisal has been done.
Okay.
And apparently US Bank has its own internal exclusionary list.
Interesting.
And I can't remember the full detail of it, but something along the lines of, if you ever had a US Bank account that got closed on you, I don't know if you closed it the way it was explained to me, that got closed on you by US Bank.
Okay.
You can never get another US Bank product ever.
That would have been maybe good to tell the client ahead of time. Right?
Well, the LO didn't know about it either. He was blindsided too.
Okay.
So he was in shock. And I mean, we closed. I want to say we closed pretty close to the original close date, actually.
Got it. Okay.
But it was one of those, like, say you say what?
Yeah. So it got through underwriting, and that's when underwriting caught it.
That's,
and
they're basically
Wow.
running their own exclusionary list.
Wow. I didn't know that.
We didn't either. Nobody did.
Wow. Okay.
So
At least you had a, that LO was confident enough to call you to finish it out.
yeah, but speaking of big banks,
Yeah.
there is
Even things can happen with big banks.
Yeah. So, I mean, the stuff that we get to deal with, it's like shopping rates. Just because the rate is X doesn't mean that you're going to get that X. Read the small print.
Yeah.
I always tell people, read the fine print.
Yeah.
Look for the points. Look whether it's a buy down or if it's a fixed rate, or, if it takes 40% down and 800 credit score.
Yeah. Even big builders. I mean,
Yep.
this happens a lot when we look at their loan estimates because they want to just shop rates just to see. Yes, they may be offering you X amount in, credits, but essentially how much they're charging you, they hide that.
One hand give us, the other hand take us, right?
Yeah.
Because they give you the credit, but then they charge you that much for points to make their rate to look more attractive.
Yeah.
So in the end, all of that credit goes towards the points, and there's
And
nothing left to cover the closing costs.
exactly. And I know that a lot of people right now, builders it's a big market, and it's worth at least getting a second opinion on.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Not to mention that the builder's lender doesn't always offer the best option for the client's situation.
Yeah.
We're not talking like the best option in terms of the rate. We're talking it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
So just because the builder is offering a lower rate doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best product.
Exactly. Yeah. I know there's down payment assistance programs that even we can use, but their builder's lender cannot. And for the client, that might be a better situation for them.
Or the non-traditional stuff that we can do.
Yeah.
The bank statement loans, the 1099 loans.
Yeah. For our self-employed borrowers.
The DSCRs.
Yeah.
The builders definitely don't do those.
Yeah.
And we can.
That's true.
So there is not everything that the builder can actually do every single time.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about crazy client stories somewhat enough. I mean, there's a lot more where that came from, but that gives you an idea of what we deal with and what makes us drink, and sometimes drink heavily, occasionally. But there are so many other parties involved in the deal.
Yeah.
Like crazy realtors, crazy escrow, crazy appraisers.
Yeah.
So crazy realtor stories.
Yeah, luckily, on the buyer side, usually those are relationships I already have. So, we have that trust with each other. But on the listing side, sometimes you have the listing agent who can be a little bit micromanaging, even though they're given consistent weekly updates. And, anytime we progress throughout the loan, they're notified. But
Ain't no much?
Yeah, it can happen. And I know that obviously they're here to, notify their sellers and update them. But if we give you all the information about where we're at in the loan, I don't think a daily call is needed.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So
That's a little over the top.
it has happened, I would say, a few times throughout my career. You have those couple listing agents who are a little bit infamous for going over the top. What about you?
Same. As a matter of fact, just closed one a couple of months ago where everything that could have gone wrong on the buy side did, because there were more buyer-owned businesses that we didn't know about. There was IRS money owed that we didn't know about. There was one thing after another, and the listing agent was just a witch with a broomstick, the size of an airplane.
Yeah.
And she, besides requiring constant updates and more detail about the buyer than we're able to share because of privacy laws.
Yeah, of course.
This one, she wanted the updates. She wanted guarantees that we can close, and legally we can't guarantee that.
Things happen. Yeah,
that's something that is like hard written into our regs.
Yep.
We can never guarantee that we can close. And she was constantly threatening to pull the plug on the deal, even though, check this out, the house was on the market for damn near 6 months.
Oh, wow.
It was off the market. My buyers tried to put an offer in on it. Originally, their departing residence didn't sell. I think they put the contingent offer in. Their property didn't sell, so they pulled the offer. The property went off market. They reached back out on that property a few months later to see if the sellers are still willing to sell. The sellers were. The property was not on the market.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not like, it didn't seem like there was actually that much urgency on the seller's side. Mm-hmm. And yet this agent was trying to like pull the whole urgent card at the sellers, well, they need to know. We're keeping you informed, but I'm not keeping you informed every freaking day.
Yeah.
And if I don't call you in like 20 minutes that you want, it doesn't mean that I'm ignoring you.
Yeah. Because you'll get back in it.
Right. She actually called our boss.
Oh, good.
And like you, right. And he actually said, I've seen the type. Just do what you do.
Yeah.
But she also tried, like the icing on the cake was that she was trying to put me against the buyer's agent and buyer's agent against me, whereas the buyer's agent and I actually have a great relationship. Mm-hmm. And same between me and the buyer. This is our transaction number, whatever, not our first rodeo. And we know each other.
Yeah.
So here we are where she's trying to tell me that she's never heard back from the buyer's agent and she doesn't know where we are. And my buyer's agent is sending me screenshots of all the texts.
Of their recent communications.
Yeah. So that one was fun. We closed it. I forever have that lady in my notebook of people I want to slap in the face.
Yeah. You have her saved permanently in your contacts, maybe like a...
Do not. With a big do not, ever.
So we talked about bad stories or just kind of horror stories with clients. What about good stories? Do you have any good ones recently?
Oh my gosh.
Does that remind you why you do this? And you don't have to drink. It was a good day.
That is really a great question. I appreciate that, Brooke. It's like, who's interviewing who, right? As a matter of fact, yes, this was extremely heartwarming. We just closed not 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The buyer is actually a teacher. Her husband does maintenance work, and they've tried to buy a couple of years ago, and for one reason or another, were not treated great, and actually made an offer on the house and had to cancel the offer because the financing wasn't falling into place. And they've been renting, and they've been renting the same house forever. And the owner of the house passed away. So the estate was gearing up to sell it. It was in the final stages of probate. And not only the whole time she was asking me, "Are you sure we're approved? Are you sure we're approved?" Yeah. And it was one of the cleanest deals I've ever done.
Oh. Yeah.
So it wasn't really a matter of getting them approved. It was just a matter of making sure that she didn't forget to take a breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
That she didn't stress it. My main goal with her was stay calm. We're good.
Yeah.
And
reassurance she needed.
Yep. And we actually closed about 10 days earlier than the contract called for.
Amazing.
And like you said, this is why I do what I do, because they were so elated to close. I mean, it wasn't their ideal home per se, but they got to stay, didn't have to move.
Yeah. And that probably gives you so much peace of mind when you go through a situation where you're renting, it's kind of uneasy. It's nice to know that you actually own your home.
Yep.
And you have that security.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I helped a widow recently. So she lost her husband, unfortunately, and she was in a really tough financial spot. She incurred a lot of debt and just couldn't afford that mortgage anymore after he had passed. So we helped her tap into that equity. We got a bridge loan for her, and she was able to move into a smaller property. We paid off all her debt entirely, and she's just so thankful. So yeah, that was that moment where
there is a reason we do what we do, and it's not. To me, it hasn't been about money in a long, long, long time. It's that feeling, the warm and fuzzies you get when you help a first generation home buyer.
Yeah.
There's actually a gal out in Eastern Oregon that I recently helped too. She got a chunk of money from down payment assistance that's local specifically to where she's at.
Yeah.
Single mom of 3, and she cleaned up her life, got a great job raising her kids by herself. And we got her into this home, and it's, like I said, it's exactly, why I do what I do. It gives you so much satisfaction.
Yeah, makes all the moments worth it.
Exactly. It makes us, it makes it all worthwhile. It doesn't make you drink. It makes it all worthwhile. And frankly, you do right by people, the money follows.
Yeah. No, and I believe that. I think those stories are actually easier for me to talk about personally than the
horror stories.
I try to just get rid of those in my mind. But
we all do.
Yeah. The good ones, I try to remember those, especially when it's like long nights or weekends. I know that at the end of the day, they are thankful. And most people are good. And,
most people are good.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, so old Brian Buffini saying from ages ago.
Yeah.
Good people know good people. Jackasses know jackasses.
I believe that. Yeah.
So we always know what we're strapping in for the ride for, depending on who the referral comes from.
It can, yeah. And sometimes you get surprised.
Most of the time, but sometimes,
you can get surprised. You're like, that was actually a lovely couple, as opposed to maybe
Or sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's an amazing family that you helped that were like uber happy. It made, that the whole transaction was just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then they refer family, and the family is just like, can please them no matter what you do.
Yeah. And you're like, are you sure that you're related?
Right. Like, I really
so sweet. And
you're a total ass. Where'd that come from?
I guess there's always that cousin or something.
Right. There's always that exception.
Yeah.
But it's, this is what makes us tick. And some of those transactions do make us drink.
They can. Yeah.
But we take the good with the bad, and we're happy for what we got.
Exactly.
That's why we do it.
Yeah, no, and it's thank you for having me here.